Hey guys, welcome to a new video about Russian fishing 4, and today I want to discuss with you a somewhat of hot topic, fish migration. I've been getting a lot of questions about it, ranging from how does it work, to those of you that heard of the term, to a whole bunch of questions like, did the fish get nerfed? I'm not catching anything more, my hotspot is no longer working, fish must be bugged, have you guys removed fish from the lake? All of that comes down to fish migration and the entire concept of fish migration. First up, let me explicitly say to you guys, we do not remove fish, we do not nerf fish without explicitly saying to you, to each and every one of you, we do not do that. If we do, because in the past we have not done it so far, if we do, we will explicitly mention it in the patch notes. Those notes will always be distributed right before or after an update. You guys can find them on the website, you guys can find them on the forum, and they will always be linked as well on our social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Google+, you guys can find it on there. In the latest patch we actually increased the amount of fish on a couple of the water bodies. But let's not get off track. Let's talk about fish migration. So what does it mean? Fish move. So if we open up the map, currently on Winding Rivulet, I'm on my YouTube account, and so we got this entire lake, or river actually, and I'm currently standing over here. This spot, I should say this spot right here, that is where I'm looking at. So 107.88. Now, say for instance that this is your go-to pike spot, and you fished here for days on end, you caught yourself a whole massive bunch of pike and then some perches and chubs, but mainly you targeted pike here. Now all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore. What has happened, what has changed that you no longer can catch them, even though you're doing the same thing and things like that? Well, fish move. That is the most simple answer, but it goes further than that. What have you done? Fish move in patterns. And so what works here for some time at some point will no longer work because the fish have moved on. Now if we were to do some pike fishing here and it stopped, it altered, we now have to move to a different spot and see if we can locate the pike there. What can you do to alter this, to turn it around and you start catching fish again? First up, learn the surroundings, learn the map. If you look over here, we see that we have a fast current, we got rocks, we've got like open water to the sides, we've got like lilies and reeds and duckweed, and we've got fallen trees. Now, pikes love moving water, they love fast currents, they also love to ambush from rocky surfaces where they can hide underneath. They love to ambush from dead trees in water, as you guys can see here. So what is one thing that we can do? Try and find to see if we can find a similar spot that offers this. So let's have a look around. We move over here and then over here, and bingo, we found another set of dead trees. So if that spot over there is no longer working, this might work. Now if this is not working, let's move again and see if we can find another place that has similar surroundings. Over here we have another dead tree in the water. That would be another excellent point. If we move further along, we got more dead trees in the water, and I got to walk around these bushes here. Sorry for the immersion. Here we go. So we got more dead trees in the water over there, and if we move a little bit further, because we still have the current here in this section, we will actually find more dead trees in the water, and more dead trees, and more dead trees, and then over here we got dead trees, and I believe that rocks as well. So now all these are potential new spots for us to start catch those pike. So first solution, do not fix yourself on just having 1 or 2 spots, because at some point both of them will no longer work. There are no such things as hotspots. Now let me actually give you guys the definition of what I believe is a hotspot. A hotspot to me is like, I'm standing at 114, 127 between 7 in the morning and 12 in the morning. If I cast out with my spinning rod, I actually don't have one on this account, so I can't actually show you, but if I cast out towards this tree and I reel in on speed 15 with a golden spoon attached to it, I will constantly always catch myself a couple of pike, and some of them will be over 3 kilograms. That to me is a definition of a hotspot, and that does not exist in this game. I might be able to at this position at this time with sad lure and with sad speed. At some point though, you will no longer be able to, because fish move. So yes, there are like general areas where you can catch pike, like say we can catch them over there, we can catch them over there, we can catch them like around the corner, but there are no hot spots or sweet spots or whatever you like to call it. Those do not exist. So first up, learn your surroundings, learn the entire map, learn where you can find similar spots or similar places that resemble where you first located the fish, and then try those out. That is the first one. Second thing that can help you is learn the habitat of the fish. Now this gets really close to finding, like, learn the surroundings, but if you know that if we go to the map here we have the depth is 1.5 meters, most likely you will be able to catch the same species in similar surroundings, so similar habitats as well. So pike, they love to attack, they love to ambush from spots, so if you can find something where they can ambush from, that would help you in targeting these fish species. And that does not go for just one map, that goes for all maps. So I learned here on Winding Rivulet that, hey, pike likes to hang out along like rocks and dead trees. So if I move to Oldburg and I find a section of rocks and dead trees over there, I will have a good chance of catching myself some pike there as well. So connect those dots, learn from that, and take that knowledge into the game and help yourself move and find new places where you can catch the fish that you first got but no longer are able to catch. Third variable, a third thing that alters fish movement, weather. Now this is something that you guys really have to pay attention to, because weather changes. And say currently it's sunny, it's like 13.9 degrees, we got only a low wind blowing from the east. And so say we were here, we were fishing constantly, we caught ourselves a bunch of pike, and all of a sudden they no longer bite. Check the weather, see if that has been altered, see if the weather is different from what you're used to. If we constantly fish like in sunny periods with medium to high temperature, and all of a sudden we got rain and we got a low temperature, that will definitely affect the fish. What happens is, when it's warm, some of the fish that like to swim to top water, get themselves a bit warmed up by the sun, start chasing other fish, like predatory fish, because the small fish moved up towards the water, they will come and take those fish. Now if it's starting to get cold, you will actually see that fish in general move towards the bottom, because high up is too cold for them, so they get a bit lower in the water. So where first you start to catch a lot of fish in the top water section, so say at 30 centimeters, now you will actually have to move your leader or your float down, so you fish more close to the bottom. Weather does affect fish like hugely, so keep an eye out on the weather. Now obviously we have a weather system, a weather forecast, but this works just as in real life, you know, when you got a guy telling you what the weather is going to be for today, it will be in that general area, But there's always like say regional weather forecast. Say he'll say today it's gonna be sunny, it's gonna be 18 degrees, no clouds. There will still be a couple of local villages that do have clouds, or where it's less sunny and even have a few drops of rain. Even though the general weather says no rain. So that is what the weather forecast is. It gives you an indication, but it's not solid facts. So like today it says it's going to be 23 degrees, sunny. Could very well be that, say, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon it's going to be overcasted. So, and moment where the weather turns, that will affect fish. So keep a close eye out on the weather. Wind does affect them too. Rain affects fish. Some fish prefer to go to the surface when it rains, while other fish, they don't want all that disturbance of drops hitting the water. They will move down closer towards the bottom. When there's a thunderstorm, for instance, that's crazy. Some fish will go nuts when there's a major thunderstorm, and I've got some of the biggest trophies during thunderstorms. I hate fishing in it. In game, I mean, I will never go out in a major thunderstorm and do some real life fishing. I'm not that crazy, but in game, you can definitely catch yourself monsters when there's a big thunderstorm going on. So keep an eye out on the weather. So here we got a couple of days of sun, then it gets a cloudy day, then we got a couple of days of rain, meaning that how the fish behave in these days where it's sunny, they will behave differently when it's clouded, and they will behave differently again when it starts to rain. So just want to have you guys know that. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to those type of details, because this is all connected to fish migration and fish behavior actually. So again, another point, so we just had learning the map, learn the habitat that the fish like to thrive in, where you can find them. We currently discussed weather. Now let's move on to baits and lures. Each map has its own habitat. So say on mosquito we fished with potatoes and we caught a lot of carp on that. That doesn't mean that that will work here on a new map. So here on Winding Rivulet, for instance, this is just an example. It's not, I'm not gonna state if it's true or not, but you will learn that some baits will work on one water body for a fish species, but for the same species on different water body it will not work. That has everything to do with the other water body having a different climate, having a different habitat. Here we have a river with a lot of current in it. You don't have that on mosquito. So the fish on mosquito are used to certain type of baits, whereas the same species will behave differently and will like different types of baits here on Winding River. One of the best examples I can give you guys is that cheese is being used a lot for tench, and I know I started to sound like a broken record, so my apologies for that, just popped into my mind. A lot of folks like to target tench with cheese. Now I went to Oldberg because a lot of folks were complaining about not catching tench anymore, and I decided to, sorry I hit my mic, I decided to move away from cheese and let's see if I can use another type of bait. And that will work. And I found that I'm actually catching the biggest tench and the most tench on maggots and casters, not on cheese. Well, cheese worked great here on Winding Rivulet and it worked great on Mosquito Lake. It worked less on Oldberg. So another thing that you can try if you find that a spot has dried out for you is try fish with different bait or try fish with a different lure. So that way you are not stuck with just one bait, and if it no longer works, you don't have to panic, because you know that there's always backup options. Try and use something that you've not done before and see if that helps. And I can tell you guys, you will sometimes be pleasantly surprised. I definitely was when I found out about the tension Oldberg, that they like maggots more and casters more than cheese. That to me solved the whole cheese problem, because then I wouldn't have to wait for the cheese to get restocked. I could just simply use the maggots and casters that were still in abundance, use that and haul out the biggest tench. So learn different types of baits and different types of lures. Learn those, try it out, and that will help you catching fish again. So to recap, find more than 3 spots. Do not stick with 3 or 2 or 3 spots that you constantly fish at, because at some point those will no longer work because the fish have moved on. B, try different depths. When there's like a difference in weather, fish will move. They will move like more towards the top of the water, or they'll move more towards the bottom of the water. Use that. Try at different depths, see if you can find the fish on that. C, try different baits, try different lures. Sometimes that is the key to you being able to catch them fish again. And then there's another factor, and that is that despite that fish move, you can actually sort of fish dry a spot. Meaning that at some point, it's not like you've caught all fish species there. There's no more fish at all. There will still be some fish, but the fish that are there have been are more cautious now because they've learned that they have been like attacked by the local fishermen or foreign fishermen, and they are more cautious. So what you need to do then, leave that spot. Give it some rest, give it some time, and it can be just ranging from a couple of hours to a couple of days, in game and real life. Give the spot some rest. For instance, I'm an active fisher woman. I constantly want to say fisherman. I'm an active fisher woman, meaning that when I fish for carp, I will make like 5 spots where I feed up front a bunch of ground bait and some chopped up maggots and stuff like that. I throw those balls in on 5 different places. I wait for an hour, then I go back, and I fish like each spot, like say 20 minutes, and then if I have not caught anything, I move on. The moment that I catch something, I catch a carp, that spot is disturbed. So instead of continuing fishing there for carp, I know that the carp that I hooked has scared of all the other carp in the surrounding area. So I'll leave that place be and let it settle, let it calm down, give it some rest. And then like after an hour, I come back to that spot and I might be able to catch myself another big carp. That is how it sort of works here as well. If you've overfished a spot and it's sort of dried out, quote unquote, leave it be. Give it some rest, move to one of your other spots, that after some time come back and you'll find that there's fish again. Last but not least, like I said, fish move. There's patterns to it that causes the fish to move. When you find, like say, this here now is not working, you do not need to move all the way to the other side on the map. It can just be that you need to move a couple of meters, like say 10, 15, to say this side, and then find them again, or to the other side you will be able to find again. But the movement patterns, they will change from time to time, so as to make the game less predictable. Meaning that after a server restart, say you got 3 spots, first only spot 1 and 2 worked, spot 3 didn't, server has restarted, migration pattern has changed or altered to one of the other migration patterns, and now all of a sudden spot 1 does not work, spot 2 only works, spot 3 still doesn't work. Like I said, what we do is we have several migration patterns of the fish moving, and it will be altered between those patterns, sort of. I can't go into too many details there, but it will always be that the fish will stick to the habitat that they're comfortable in. They will stick to just the rules that are there when it comes to terms of weather. So if you find that your pike spot is no longer working and this pike spot is also no longer working, you will never find like a good pike spot here, for instance. This is like carp territory, it's still water, it's got hardly any movement to no movement at all. That is not a place where you will find pike again. It's very simple, pike cannot survive there. these are much better places. So if you learn your surroundings, if you learn the habitat, you will have more places to go to, and you can strike off a place like that from your list because it doesn't match with the habitat the pike generally lives in. So no worries, don't think that we put fish on places that are totally not in correlation to their usual behavior. We don't do that. Fish will still be in the same places that correspond to their habitat, correspond to their behavior. But like I said early on, make sure that you have more than just 2 or 3 spots that you go to. Learn the habitat of the fish, learn the behavior of the fish, learn the weather patterns, and then when you get confronted with spots being dried out or dried up, you will accustom yourself to it, take your knowledge that you learned, and you will be able to find fish again. So don't give up too fast. Understand that there are a lot of variables as to why fish are not around on certain spots anymore. Do not think instantly that fish are bugged or fish are nerfed. 9 times out of 10 you'll find out that those are not the cases. That it's simply a matter of fish migration. Okay guys, thank you all so much for watching. I know that this is a subject that, like I said, it's big concept. It's not something that I found in other games, not as detailed as this one is. So I'm sure that it raises a lot of questions as well. It definitely did for me, and I know that there are still some aspects that I do not fully grasp yet myself. But if you got any questions about it, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or please bring them to the forums. r4game.com/forum. I'm not capable of being online on YouTube 24/7, while on the forums there are a whole bunch of moderators that can help you out. There's also a whole bunch of knowledgeable players that can help you out through their own experience. So if you want to have a fast answer, please go to the forums. With that being said, don't forget to like, do not forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys again in a new video of Russian Fishing 4. Bye bye for now.